Welcome to I Need Some Disney, the podcast where we dive into everything Disney, from the parks to the rides to the movies to the shows and everything in between.
Avast, mateys! On this week's episode, we be discussing the Skeleton Pirate Captain from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride and his really long and complicated backstory.
Hey, I'm Blake T. Wild, and today I'm joined, as always, by the co-host, Lena.
Hi, guys.
Today, because I thought this would be fun and unique, and there's no real podcasts or series online that dive into the characters that exist solely at the Disney parks, I thought it would be fun to discuss the Skeleton Pirate Captain. Anybody unaware, if you've looked at the thumbnail or the image that's on screen, that's who it is. Do you know which one this is?
That's the one you see when you walk in, right?
No, this is the one that's in the bed.
Oh, I thought we were doing the one you see when you walk in.
What's the one you see when you walk in?
Isn't there a pirate when you walk into the ride?
There are the pirates on the walls that are painted.
Oh, what am I thinking? Oh,
I don't know what you're thinking of. What?
I'm thinking of the parrots.
So when I said, let's talk about the Skeleton Pirate Captain, you said, oh yeah, the parrot.
No, I just forgot.
Yeah, no? Because it sounds like that's what you just said.
The birds.
I think he might have a bird. He has a dead bird with a little nightcap on.
Well, okay.
Yeah, is that what you're gonna...
Yes, let's talk about a pirate bird. You do know Disney does have a pirate bird, right?
What?
What? He's in the...
Tiki room?
What? No, he's in the Disney Junior show.
What are you talking about?
The Pirate Disney Junior show.
There's a Pirate Disney Junior show? I don't know what that is.
They have a pirate bird, and they teach you that a good pirate never steals.
It sounds like a terrible show. What is it?
It's for preschoolers.
Preschoolers can know what pirates are. We are not talking about the parrot of any sort. We're talking about a former human being.
I'd rather talk about a parrot.
Well, then you can do the episode. You can do the research on the parrot.
Okay.
You're never going to do that.
Nope.
This is about, again, the Skeleton Pirate Captain. You got to make that note because there is another pirate captain who exists on the ride, so don't get these two mixed up. Yeah, before we got sort of sidetracked, like I said, I thought it would be neat to go into this and start looking further into the parks themselves, past just the rides, and the individuals that make up the rides themselves. So this will be kind of me just kind of reading you the history as I wrote it out and created this synopsis of this character. Here is a sort of description of the captain.
The captain's quarters features a bony corpse examining a treasure map in bed, while an old harpsichord plays the theme song, and a huge amount of treasure being guarded by another skeleton pirate. Ooh.
Scary.
And that was the bird.
No, the bird would have had more of a rock to his voice.
No, that's a stereotype. They don't like it when you say that about them.
I've met a parrot before.
So have I. I own a parrot.
Oh, I forgot about that parrot.
Is that the parrot you were thinking of?
No.
You're like, I've seen that parrot before. Blake, is your parrot a pirate?
You never know. You don't know what that bird does in its free time.
She downloads Napster. Continuing. This pirate, like all the great animatronics on Pirates of the Caribbean, was originally designed by the gag king of Disney himself, Mark Davis. I don't know if that's if anybody's ever called him that other than me, but that is...
It's only you.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure I came up with that for another video.
It's a club with only one person in it, and that is you.
Why are you being so down to me? I just want to talk about the skeleton pirate.
Okay, go ahead. Talk about the skeleton parrot.
No, the pirate. So I went to the wiki page for this, and it was extensive, shockingly. And there are various children's books, is where most of this information comes from about this pirate.
You're getting your information from children's books.
They're canon.
Okay, that makes it better.
Yes, that means that this is like his backstory, but it was told in these like kids' books from the early 2000s. And there's also a handful of comics that are pirates themed, which, funnily enough, coincide with the Haunted Mansion, the Eddie Murphy one. They also had comics release around that time. They didn't do great, but not bad either. But they also, at the time, released, like I said, the Pirates of the Caribbean comics following the success of the first film. They had a couple before, they didn't do very well, and then afterward they were like, fuck, put Jack Sparrow on this, like they did with everything, I should say. Yeah, these comics kind of tie into the kids' books.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the comics are more of like the forefront of the canonicity of this fucking skeleton pirate. They also, interestingly enough, at least attempted to tie the ride into the film. So, here we go. The skeleton pirate, not parrot, pirate captain, also known by his real name, Emerson the Scourge Scrope. Emerson the Scourge. Why am I having so many issues saying this?
Scourge.
The Scourge. Well, it's probably because it's the Scourge, and I've been saying...
Is it Scourge?
It's Scourge. I don't know why I said Scourge.
Well, that doesn't make sense. If it was Scourge, it would be an E, not an O.
No, that's how it's spelled. It's Scourge. I don't know. I was just saying
Scourge?
Scourge. I've never seen Scourge all caps like I have it written in my notes, and it threw me off because I'm an idiot. So let me try that again. Emerson the Scourge Scrope was once the pirate captain of the Wicked Wench at some point in the 18th century, around the time that a pirate base was set up within Dead Man's Cove on Isla Tesoro. So there's a lot of stuff immediately in that first sentence that I got. Emerson the Scourge Scrope is the skeleton pirate captain. He was the captain of the Wicked Wench, which is the ship that is firing the cannons that we go past on the ride. Mm-hmm. And Dead Man's Cove is, of course, the cave system that the boat rides through. And Isla Tesoro, assuming that I spelled it correctly, and that's actually what it's called, that is the, like, Spanish city that is under siege.
Okay. Makes sense.
So that's just kind of like an overarching thing. And now we go back. We go back into the past. Into the past, the past. A scrapping, clutching, covetous old sinner known for being hard and sharp as flint, secretive and self-contained and as solitary as an oyster, Emerson Scrope was said to have been born into an affluent family in Scotland in the 17th century. You can tell I sort of got purple with my prose for these notes. However, due to an unloving, cold-hearted father, the would-be pirate captain ran away and went to sea at the age of 13.
Well, what else are you supposed to do when your father doesn't love you?
I suppose there were no circuses in Scotland at the time, so he couldn't have done that. And he would eventually... They don't really cover that much. That kind of just goes from him running away as a teenager, and then it cuts to him like a year or two later where he has been made the second mate of a ship dubbed the Princess.
Aww.
Get it? Because it's Disney. So he is made second mate of a ship called the Princess, but unfortunately that wouldn't last very long because only a year later the ship is captured under the command of Captain Jack Marnock. The crew, I don't know why I said it like anybody knows who that is. The crew of pirates, the crew of the Princess was scuttled and shanghaied and forced to join the Marnock's crew aboard the ship called the Royal Bell.
Of course.
So they're really focusing on tying all of this Disney stuff into this. Is it tying Disney into it? I guess it's referencing Disney.
I'm trying to make it Disney.
And the Princess was destroyed, the ship was scuttled, and Emerson Scrope was forced, along with the rest of the crew that survived this battle, to join Captain Jack Marnock. Fortunately for Scrope, however, Captain Marnock was a fellow Scotsman, and the two formed a bond. Marnock discovered Scrope's ability as both a navigator and their shared greed. Because obviously they're pirates. Well, one of them's a pirate, one of them's going to become a pirate, but they're both very greedy, and the two confided various secrets to one another. I suppose you could delve into what that might possibly mean from a sexual standpoint, but let's not do that. And eventually, Marnock told him that if he came to trust Scrope enough, he would one day reveal the location of his mass of hidden treasure. I'm sorry, treasure. What were you going to say?
Weren't they already close, though? So why wouldn't he just tell him?
Well, that's not how pirates work.
Oh, okay.
They're a very superstitious lot, the pirates. And they're close, but you're not going to tell your best friend where you hid a giant cache of treasure, especially if your best friend is a pirate who might kill you for it.
I'd tell my bestie.
It's, because I did find the comics online. Unfortunately, none of them were high resolution enough to really, warrant me downloading and putting onto the video, so that's why there's nothing really on here right now, aside from the skeleton picture. It seemed it was almost like a Palpatine, Darth Sidious, and Darth Vader kind of, relationship that they had.
Yeah.
So Marnock and Scrope, essentially, they became business partners, if I guess you could call them that, business partners in piratry, and they quickly amassed a sizable wealth and command over the course of the next several years. So they're running with a giant, fleet of pirate ships under their name. He's their the second hand to Marnock, and it really is kind of like Palpatine and Anakin.
Lovely. So they're drawing more Disney into it.
Yeah, well, this was technically before that. This was early 2000s when this comic came out, but I guess it's original trilogy. But, Lena.
What?
Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end.
You must die.
Yes. A Portuguese warship ambushed the Royal Bell, and Marnock was shot 3 times before he found Emerson, who had wounded his leg, aboard the dock where they were stationed at. Emerson was the one who wounded his leg. He got, shot or something. I don't fucking know. Emerson attempted to help his old friend to safety on the port city so they could hide out and help him find whatever medical assistance there might have been in the 1700s. But before that, here's what happened. You were saying earlier that you would tell your best friend where the pirate treasure is. Emerson demanded that Marnock tell him where his treasure was, hidden, and then he would help him save his life. Of course, what do you think happened?
They all died.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's a skeleton. Marnock, of course, refused, and Scrope left him there at the hands of the Portuguese and fled.
Yep.
Marnock, it gets really dark in this next, couple scenes. This is all stuff also from the comic. It's fucking, comes out of nowhere. Because Captain Marnock is found by the Portuguese soldiers, whatever, and he gets chained to several cannonballs, taken out on his own ship, and then is cast overboard.
Yeah, I've heard of people dying worse ways.
Yeah, but this isn't I suppose this was, I don't know, maybe a PG-13 comic or something.
I've read of people dying worse ways.
In a Disney comic?
No.
This is something I guess they would have sold at the parks. I guess so.
Never read Orinoco. Just saying, guys.
Oh. Yeah, it's a sad story.
Now you're gonna look it up, yeah.
What is...
Orinoco?
That's that African prince.
Yeah, don't read it.
I can't remember what happens, but I remember it's not good.
I'm scarred for life.
No, Scars from the Lion King.
Stop trying to drag Disney into everything.
Yeah, stop trying to drag Disney into everything on here.
Don't drag Disney into everything.
So, yeah, after that, unsurprisingly, Marnock dies because he got chained to a handful of cannonballs and they just chucked them overboard. It's really scary. I feel like if you had read this comic as your kid, this would have given you nightmares.
Probably.
Because, the last panel that we see is, a low shot of the the boat. And it's fucking Marnock, clawing his way towards the camera, screaming.
I don't think that would have scarred me that bad.
No?
No.
I'll have to try and find the picture and show it to you.
Yeah.
Maybe that would.
I watched The Ring when I was 3 years old. I think
that's
I'd
true.
be fine.
I don't know. Or it would have made it worse, because it kind of does look like The Ring.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, well, because he looks like he's either crawling towards you or getting pulled back.
Well,
because, it's a comic.
Would have made me worse then.
Because it's him getting
Okay.
And then the next comic is like a psh, splash. Anyway, over the following years, Emerson Scrope's first act was obtaining a new ship, which was a Spanish galleon that he would rechristen to the Wicked Wench, which is a fun way of depicting how much he has changed since his first voyage amongst the princess. You know, I thought that was clever. I don't know if that was intended by the writer. I should have fucking looked at any information about this comic and who wrote it and like who the artist and everything was. I don't know if it would have said. A lot of these like corporate comics really don't go that far into giving credits. But assuming that was the reason, I do like that he goes from, oh, he's just a young little lad who wants to see the world aboard the Princess. And then as he, ages up and all this terrible stuff happens to him in his life, he is eventually on the Wicked Wench.
I don't know where you're going really with that other than...
It's a cool depiction of how his life has changed.
Well, yeah, but he also boarded a ship to become a pirate. Like, how did you think his life was going to change?
Well, no, he was forced to board that. He was shanghaied. So eventually, this was when, within these next handful of years, however long, they don't ever say how old he is, aside from that he ran away at 13. He became known as the Scourge of the Caribbean, or the Caribbean. What do you say?
Is it Caribbean?
Of the Caribbean. And by this point, he had become fully engaged in piratery and utter greed. Having never found the location of Captain Marnock's treasure trove, he sought to create his own. It's a really cool ending of one of the issues. That's like the cliffhanger ending, is like, oh, if I can't have it, then I'll make my own, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the fuck he says. So plundering, pillaging, rifling, and looting, marauding and embezzling, extorting, pilfering every merchant vessel and port which would turn a profit, Scourge of the Caribbean did so. And at one of these cities, you should start paying attention to this because this is where it gets interesting. A young port clerk, that is hard to say, port clerk.
Port clerk.
Port clerk. I don't know why.
It's not hard.
Port
you just gotta make sure you enunciate the T.
Port clerk. Anyway, a young port clerk, annoyed with his underpaid life in poverty, was witness to the arrival of the Wicked Wench, as they, snuck in the night or whatever. This young man was named Robert John Crispin, or Bob Crispin, as he's referred to eventually in the comics. Bob Crispin for short, I guess. Not sure how old he's supposed to be. It kind of seems like he's late teens or early 20s based on the artwork. So he's working there, and he hides along the docks and, fucking cowers away as these pirates just begin us. It's kind of like the scene in the ride itself, actually.
Oh, really?
It's pretty much them just taking the scene from the ride of the pirates just fucking amassing along the land and the city, and everything starts getting pillaged and burnt and everything, and Bob Crispin is hiding in this little office thing. But he eventually, once all the pirates all head in, the last one to exit the ship is the much, much, much older, huge time skip that happens. Emerson the Scourge Scrope, who, if you remember correctly, got shot in the leg in his youth, and he is now using a cane with a carved golden skull atop of it, outfitted in the finest clothing that Bob has ever seen. Huh. So he's hobbling, he's like... That's the sound of him walking with his cane.
That's the sound of him walking. Thank you for noting that.
Well, it's an audio medium, so, you gotta do some good stuff like that. Once all the pirates had entered the city and began their terrible deeds, Bob, for some reason, snuck aboard the ship. I'm not sure why, and I don't think the writer was either. I think he just wanted him to get to that point. They do make it a note of saying, like I said, he's underpaid and just doesn't enjoy his life of poverty as this young port clerk. So I don't really know what exactly that was happening, but he eventually found his way to the captain's quarters and just kind of starts going through stuff and looking at things and lounging around. He finds a red bandana that he likes and wraps it around his head. And he, looks at himself in the mirror and, gives a big teethy grin. Who should show up as he's, looking at all these jewels and putting these bracelets on his arms and this and that?
The pirate.
Whose name is?
Scrooge.
No.
Scourge.
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 The Scourge. The Scourge.
The Scourge.
The Scourge. Scrope. Emerson the Scourge Scrope. The skeleton pirate captain. Scrope, at this time, he's pretty much how I described him at the beginning. He's old, miserly, very quick to anger. He's hobbled over on his fucking cane with the golden skull on it. But he finds it funny that this young man had the cojones to sneak aboard his ship. Not just any ship, but the ship of the Scourge. The Wicked Wench.
The audacity.
Exactly. But he likes it. He likes the boy's chutzpah and his confidence, and the boy, Bob Crispin, meagerly tells him about how much he hates his life and that he wants to be like Scrope after he sees him like decked out in all these fine clothes and jewelry and all this stuff that he has access to.
Well, that's what happens when you just steal other people's stuff.
It's that easy.
It's that easy. Just go ahead and steal other people's stuff.
Yeah, just quit your job like Bob Crispin does, because that's what happens. He runs away with the pirates, leaving his town behind, because Scrope invites him aboard and gives the boy rum for the first time, which he really likes. Mm-hmm. They drink all the rum and get along pretty quickly, and for the most part, they like each other. But like as the issue continues, Scrope isn't really a fan of how eccentric Bob gets when he's drunk on rum. He gets very not lackadaisical. He gets very whimsical, I suppose, and silly. And that is because, I don't know if you already looked ahead, but Robert John Crispin eventually decides to adopt the alias of Jack Sparrow. That is the origin of Jack Sparrow.
Wait, so is this actually Jack Sparrow?
Yes, this is still the origin of Jack Sparrow.
What? I don't like it.
No, why? What's wrong with this?
I guess. It's fine.
Well, no, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
I just figured they would have done something more interesting.
Something cooler you don't like?
Something cooler than him just being... I thought he was, like, born into it.
I think that's what the general idea was, but no. This comic sets in stone the fact that Jack Sparrow's real name, it's not even his real name, not even Jack, nothing related to Jack. His real name was Robert John Crispin, and for most of the issue, he's known as Bob Crispin, and he works for Scrope. Around this time as well, there is another sort of member of, like, Scrope's kind of inner circle. Mm-hmm. Hector Barbossa.
No.
You know him, right?
Barbossa. Of course I know who Barbossa is.
So, as you can imagine, the now Jack Sparrow and Barbossa, they begin elevating their positions in the SCOURGE's crew, and the real turning point is feeling the battered age and ailments of being a fearsome pirate. He wants to retire with his riches. But of course he still wants more money, because how can you not want more money if you have tons of money already?
I mean, you could always want more money.
Well, he does, and he, I guess the proper term would be retiring. It's kind of like when a mob boss gets arrested and goes to prison, but they're still running stuff, because, this is around the time that they begin making the cave, like, base that we see him in the ride. And Scrope, being a huge asshole, plays Jack and Barbossa against each other constantly. And he would only make matters worse when he puts Jack in charge of the Wicked Wench. So, and he makes Barbossa the first mate.
Who was the first mate before then?
I don't know.
Aren't you
no,
always...
Barbossa he remains the first mate. Barbossa, so the Wicked Wench was Scrope's ship, and then once he sort of leaves to, this bed in a cave, he puts Jack in charge of the Wicked Wench and leaves Barbossa there. So time passes and the two continue working for Scrope, who takes on a neglectful father kind of role for both of them. It's a very odd and hateful relationship that these three have. This is where the couple of issues sort of, it's like I think this is the second to last, if not the last one. He doesn't care about either of them and sort of pushes them both to outdo each other to ensure that his own treasure island, as he calls it, get it?
Yes.
It's another Disney thing, is filled to the brim with plundered riches. Of course, this is after it kind of cuts again through time to where they've established their subterranean grotto base in Dead Man's Cove. And this leads into the events just before the Curse of the Black Pearl. So we finally get to the movie, because that's the first Pirates movie.
Yeah. I mean, this helps paint a better picture for how they all started out.
It's mostly why Jack and Barbossa, I think, hate each other.
Yeah, that kind of helps. Well, obviously, if you're a pirate, you gotta hate someone, right?
I guess.
Most likely another pirate, or, the Navy, or
Spanish, English, Portuguese,
just any
name
Navy.
it. List
Any
them.
Navy.
So this is, oh my god. I had to do so much fucking math trying to figure out where this takes place in the Pirates timeline. It's 2 years after Jack, formerly Bob. I can't believe his name was Bob.
He feels like a Bob, I feel it.
Yeah. 2 years after Jack takes over the Wicked Wench, but it's 10 years before the first movie. And that is when Jack learns the legend of the Aztec gold, aka the Treasure of Cortez. Those are like the gold, that's the gold in the first movie that's cursed. You remember that?
I don't remember the first one very well. Is that one where their dead comes
Yeah,
back
it's where
and-
like the moonlight hits them and their skeletons.
Yeah.
That's the Treasure of Cortez are like the little gold coins that causes the curse. And like one of them, like they have to collect them all back or something, I think is the plot. It's been a while since I've seen it. I think Will Turner has one of them.
He has it when
Because his
you
dad
find
sends
him.
it away.
Because his dad's a
Yeah.
pirate.
What?
Yeah.
I've only seen the first and the last Pirates movies.
When did we find out? Wait, which one is it?
We find out he's like in the second one, his dad.
His dad's in the second one. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Davy Jones and all that good stuff.
Those are so good.
That one was really good. I love that one.
So, this Treasure of Cortez, aka the Aztec Gold, would be a huge win for Scrope. And of course, he's pretty much Scrooge McDuck if he was a pirate.
Can we just start calling him Scrooge? I don't like saying Scrooge.
Well, don't, because it's Scourge.
I don't like saying that either.
You can call him Scrope. That's his name.
Can I just say Scrooge?
No, it's nothing.
Well, he has a Scrooge vibe, so it works.
What? How? Although we did say
all
that Skeleton
wants
doesn't
all
like
his
Scrooge.
Money.
When we were on the ride, remember we were trying to figure out who he is? We were like, is that Scrooge?
Oh, yeah.
So Scrope wants this treasure, and Barbossa saw this as his chance to like win over some brownie points with the captain.
Mm-hmm.
So Barbossa mutinies Jack, leaves him stranded, steals his monkey and the ship, which he later renames to Black Pearl. So the Wicked Wench that we see in the Pirates of the Caribbean The Ride is retconned into becoming the Black Pearl.
Okay.
So God knows what that means for the timeline.
That's just annoying. Why would you rename a ship?
Well, Jack renames himself.
Well,
Of course, we all know what happens after this, kind of, I guess. Barbossa and the crew find the ancient relic of the long-lost Aztec gold and set sail back for Dead Man's Cove and give it to Scrope, or Scrooge as you keep calling him for some reason.
I'm just call him Scrooge.
I don't like that. It's the Scourge. Barbossa has the chest unloaded into the main treasure area and removes a single coin to provide it to the now bedridden Scrope to inspect. So, you know, he looks, in the comic, he looks just like this picture, but he has flesh.
Oh.
And eyes, I suppose. He's even wearing the hat in this final scenes. This is like the last issue of the comic is when Barbossa finally brings the treasure back and he's showing it to him and he does like the teeth, the bite the coin thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the aging captain lying in his opulent bed surrounded by mounds of plundered riches. He barely notices Jack Sparrow's absence, even though he was always like, I don't know about friend. I don't know how I would describe their relationship. I suppose Palpatine and Anakin like.
Frenemies. Just say they're frenemies.
It was like a weird mentorship because like he takes Jack Bob under his arm, or like under his wing, I suppose. His because he's a parrot, under his parrot wing. But like at this point, he just doesn't really give a shit. He's just putting these two against each other so much, and he barely notices that he's gone, and he brushes Jack's absence off as inconsequential. And this is like one of the final lines in the book where Scrope tells Barbossa that if Jack rather would die, then all the better for it, and excitedly calls for the rest of the Aztec gold to be brought to his chamber. But Barbossa does tell him about the curse, because he may as well. And although he does very much downplay exactly what the curse is, which is what, like horrible immortality where you're a skeleton or something?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't work because this only intrigues Scrope more, and he declares the entire chest and like plunder of gold that Barbossa and his men worked so fucking hard to get for his own personal hoard, and demands that it be set at the foot of his bed. He dismisses Barbossa with orders to ensure that the crew continues their raids to bring him more wealth, and scoffs at any concerns about curses. He doesn't believe in it. He's like, whatever.
Well,
Bah humbug, if you will. If you want to go with the Scrooge.
when you're that old, would you really care?
If anything, he would want it to be immortal.
Yeah.
Barbossa, however, leads another mutiny. And in the dead of night, Barbossa leads the crew out of Dead Man's Cove, taking the chest of gold and Aztec gold with him. However, he does leave a single coin on Scrope's bedside table, either as a act of mockery or he just kind of forgot about it, I don't know. But they steal as much of the rest of Scrope's treasure trove as they can possibly carry, and then they head out of the caves. And sometime later, Scrope awakens and sees that his formerly loyal crew are currently escaping his cavernous system with all of his treasure. And he sees Barbossa specifically getting the Aztec gold chest loaded onto the ship. He hobbles over, grabs his pistol, and tries to open fire on him. Barbossa returns a shot and strikes Scrope in the shoulder. And then they escape out of the caves and back to the ship and never to return. Then they head out, party, and do whatever else that causes all the gold to get dispersed. Or whatever happens before the movie. So Scrope finally, these are the final pages of the comic. He hobbles back to his chamber and falls into the bed, and then he sees it. The ghostly figure of his former captain, who is still chained to those ethereal, haunting cannonballs hovering over him. And Marnock calls out to his former partner in piratry and finally tells him where his boundless collection of treasures are. And Scrope weakly wrenches out his map from his bedside table and his magnifying glass in the other hand and looks for the location that his ghostly former associate told him that his treasure is, and dies alone inspecting his map. But he dies not just from the bullet wound, which, of course, you know, if you're not familiar, that is the exact pose that the skeleton pirate captain is in on the ride. Mm-hmm. So that's how he ends. So yeah, he dies, but there is the curse, of course. And
he's alive.
It's like a horrible limbo. The single piece of Aztec gold that Barbossa left behind means that Scrope's body doesn't, like, decay properly or anything, but it just kind of transforms into a skeleton that's frozen in a grim limbo between life and death. And I guess that the curse binds him to the gold and leaves him trapped there forever until Barbossa comes back and takes it before the movie.
I guess.
And now there's one final big story point that we have to talk about.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Ready.
I made all that up.
You're joking.
No, that is the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, as told if he were a pirate.
What's wrong with you?
That's Scrooge's story, combined with Captain Flint from Treasure Island and the real-life pirate Black Bart.
What's wrong with you?
I wrote all of that because he has no backstory. He's just a skeleton.
So you wasted everyone's time today, is what you're telling us.
He's just a skeleton. I thought there would be so much more. I was so disappointed that there wasn't, that I wrote a whole backstory for this man.
So you ripped off Scrooge.
And some of Treasure Island, but mostly Christmas Carol, yes. You didn't notice Bob Cratchit and Bob Crispin sounded a little alike, and they both worked for a guy who kind of sounds like Scrooge?
Why do you think I kept saying Scrooge?
I know, I figured you would have brought it up even more.
I don't pay attention to names, I pay attention to faces.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter because he's a skeleton.
Exactly.
There is no information about him, aside from the fact that he's known for having a well-furnished cabin in Dead Man's Cove where he kept maps, a harpsichord, and even a pet parrot. There is, however, a bunch of theories about who he could be.
Oh, please. You wasted enough time.
Such as Captain Barbossa, Blackbeard, the mutineer / new captain, I don't know, I guess that's the guy who was on the ship, the treasure raid leader, Le Capitan from the Paris in Disney, and the auctioneer. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
How dare you?
You didn't like it?
No, I liked it.
Well, you didn't like my horrible, dumb backstory for Jack Sparrow?
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why you tried to make up something fake for Jack Sparrow. That was just weird.
Because I figured it would keep people's attention. They'd be like, what? What is this?
Well, it threw me off because we know that his real father is a pirate.
Oh, we do?
Yes!
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, how long has it been since you've seen the movies?
Which one's that?
That's the one where they go after the mermaid?
Oh, I hate that one. You love that one.
Yeah, I love that one. I'm pretty sure it's that one.
This could have still worked. His father could have still been a pirate.
But you said he was... whatever.
I said that Jack was living in poverty, working as a port clerk. That could have still meant that his dad was a pirate. I do have a couple of other pieces of information about the actual skeleton pirate captain, and these are real.
No, you lost our trust already. Don't believe him.
In the Disneyland Paris, and Tokyo Disneyland versions of the attractions, the captain appears in the Pirate's Lair section of the cavernous sequence. The captain can be seen in the quarters, lying in bed, while dressed in a nightcap and gown, examining a map with a magnifying glass. That is all that it said on the Disney Wiki page. Here is something, though, Lena, you'll like this, because this is the closest thing to an actual possible backstory for this man. The captain was adapted into one of the Pirates of the Caribbean films as Ponce de Leon, a historic Spanish explorer identified as having... This is the mermaid one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Discovered the Fountain of Youth. The captain's shipwreck is found by Jack and Barbossa, with them going on to try and claim the captain's map. And when Jack tries to steal it, the head moves.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't bring that up at any point during this.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think most people do, because it's not a great movie.
I love that one.
I don't know why.
Is it the mermaids? Why you hate it? So many people love it.
I don't think so.
Oh. You are the only person I've ever met who doesn't like that movie.
It's just not good.
To you.
I don't even remember. Who's the villain?
Really?
Is it the voodoo woman?
No.
Which one is it?
Oh my gosh. No.
Here's some fun facts about the Pirates ride. When the attraction first opened, all of the skeletons in the grotto scenes were real skeletons.
Why on earth would they do that?
Because apparently there were limitations on the amount of skeleton props that they had. So they got real ones from, like, a university, I'd imagine. The skull that sits right above the bed in the treasure room near the beginning of the ride is real. They obtained it from the UCLA Medical Center, but the skeletons were later returned to their countries of origin and given a proper burial. You're going to really like this one. In an unused script for the Pirates of the Caribbean, the captain's undead parrot would have spoken and repeated the lines from the pirates who were planning their raid on Puerto Dorado, such as, "Morgan says the streets are paved with gold." That's my parrot / prospector voice. This is cool. In addition to the parrot, the captain would have had 3 chained up pet crocodiles.
Well, who doesn't want a pet crocodile?
Who doesn't want 3 of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
Bye.
We can't do that because this is... No, don't say bye. We're not done yet. So, yeah, we're reaching the end, and that, of course, means trivia.
Oh, yay. I'm winning.
Yep. The current trivia... what's the word I'm looking for? Score.
Scrooge.
The current trivia Scrooge is... Lena with 5, Blake with 4. God almighty. Oh my god, there's so much stuff on this Disney Play app. I lost the trivia one. There it is. So yes, I'm using the Disney Trivia, Disney Play app, the trivia game, which, as we have discovered, are very hard questions for what is supposed to be a fun activity to play while you're waiting in line.
Well, at least the one we pick.
So this is random trivia. As always, I'm going to go first.
During the monstrous summer event in 2013,
What?
Spaceship Earth transformed into what Monsters University character?
Well. God, I hope there's a certain answer.
I don't know. Okay, is it A, Roz, B, Mike Wazowski, C, Randall Boggs, or D, Boo?
Spaceship Earth. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
That's the big golf ball, right? Isn't that it? Wouldn't it be Mike because he's just a big ball? I'm gonna say Mike. Oh, thank God. Even James P. Sullivan, aka Sully, joined in the Summer of Fun and made a cameo on Spaceship Earth. God almighty, if Mike wasn't on that list, I was gonna be screwed. I was gonna be Scrooged. Alright, are you ready for your question?
No.
The vision to see the treasured past comes as the timely shadow in front of the house of Pass and Stow.
Oh, it's Stowe.
Stow, you know this?
Yes.
What does Pass and Stow refer to in Disney's National Treasure?
Yes. I should know this.
Do you know it without? If you know it without the multiple choice, I'll give you an extra point.
Wait, read it again.
Okay, so here's what we're doing.
Wait, no.
If she can get it without me reading the multiple choice, I'll give you an extra point.
Okay.
The vision to see the treasured past comes from... Oh, fuck. Let me try it again. Is it Nicolas Cage who says this?
Yeah.
The vision to see the treasured past comes as the timely shadow in front of the house of Pass and Stow. Stow. What does Pass and Stow refer to in Disney's National Treasure?
Wasn't it the name of the two guys that made the Liberty Bell? Wait.
So the Liberty Bell is an option, so I will click that one.
Well, wait, let me see the options. Blake!
You can't pick another one. You already went with Liberty Bell. So the options are Delaware Crossing, Times Square, Independence Hall, Liberty Bell. Let's go, Liberty Bell!
Liberty Bell!
You got it right!
I have seen that movie several times.
I've never seen a National Treasure in my life.
What? I love that movie.
Did you know John Pass and Jon Snow... Fuck.
Stowe!
Stowe were the ones who cast the Liberty Bell after you experienced the American Adventure at Epcot. You can find a replica of the Liberty Bell in Liberty Square in the Magic Kingdom Park. Congratulations, Lena. You are now on 7 points and I am on 5 because you got an extra point for being able to get it without the multiple choice because you've seen National Treasure God knows how many times.
We owned it on DVD.
Oh, yeah. I've not once even seen, like, even on TV, if I saw it was on, I would change the channel.
Why do you hate that one? I love that one.
I had no interest in ever watching it. I always thought, though, they really missed out on doing a crossover with the National Treasure film franchise and the Michael Bay era Transformers.
No, that would.
They should have done a crossover. So, currently, again, the trivia score stands at Blake 5, Lena 7. And
Thanks, Mom. Thanks for buying that movie when it came out.
That wraps up this episode of I Need Some Disney. Join us next time where it'll definitely be something real. That's the thing, though. I'm doing that. I'm making that Disney magic.
By lying to your fan base.
Yes.
Okay.
They lie. They lie. Disney lies all the time.
If you think about it, Disney is always lying to you.
Because they're telling you stories and making you think magic's real.
Because it's all just stories that we love, so we're gonna play along.
Yes, exactly.
We're playing along with you, Disney.
And I was playing along with myself.
What's wrong with you?
And you were playing along with me by not caring.
You need to stop talking now and end this.
All right, I'll see you next time for the stars. It's a little sneak peek as to what's coming next episode.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to I Need Some Disney. This podcast is in no way affiliated with or endorsed by the Walt Disney Company. All opinions, facts, and fun here are our very own. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us online. Leave any suggestions for future topics in the comments.